Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. This video is for reps that are using AMP. I'm going to show you how to go from just starting, being invited to a manufacturer that is using AMP, being invited to use AMP, and then all the way to how to be an expert at it. So here we go. So maybe our manufacturer has just added AMP to their line. We're very excited to start using it, and we just received an invitation email telling us to get started, and we don't really know where to go from there. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go to the App Store, and we need to get the app for AMPTab. So we'll go to the App Store, and then we're going to go to the search bar here, and we're going to search for AMPTab. So just AMPTab, search. And the only one that comes up is this Mercury Catalog, AMP Tablet Solutions. This is exactly what we want. If you haven't installed it already, this button would say install and you would hit that, just like you would any other app on the App Store. In our case, it's already here, so we're just going to hit open. We're going to open it up. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our username and password. So this was sent to us in an invitation from our manufacturer. So I'm going to hit the home button to go back, and I'm going to open up my email. So now we're just going to open up our email, and we're going to find this email. It should be from AMPTab support. It says, in our case, the manufacturer that we're working for is Green Lake Demo. Yours would be your manufacturer. So Green Lake Demo is inviting you to browse and shop their digital catalog. It has some information here. You can read through this. I recommend reading through this. This will walk you through exactly what we just did, downloading that app. And making sure you get your Apple ID and password correct. What we're interested in is this user ID and password for AMPTab. So we're going to actually just copy this password out. Maybe. Actually, we're just going to remember it, 864JXT, and then Derek plus rep at amptab.com. So we're going to hit the Home tab. We're going to find our app, which is here. We're going to open it up. Before we forget the password, we're going to put it in here, 864JXT, and then it was Derek plus rep at amptab.com, and this will be your credentials that you would put in here. Make sure you select the save password. This will make it easier for you to log in the future, and then we're going to hit login. Cool. Now that we're logged in, we're brought to our user tab, and so you'll see these tabs across the bottom here: user, manufacturer, customer, products, proposal, and then this QR code symbol. So that's kind of our navigation, and we're going to take you just from left to right to kind of demystify each of these and show you what you can do on each of them. The first thing we're going to do now that we're signed in, if we ever wanted to sign out, we can hit that sign out button, but we're going to actually just change our password just right now. This should definitely be the first thing you do when you get in here so that you don't have to remember your 864JXT or whatever your password is. So we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to put in a new password. Don't look. And once you've done that, you successfully changed it. So perfect. So now we have the password that we want as our password when we log in the future. So first thing you're going to see here on this user tab, so again we're on the user tab and this is where we start, is you're going to see this manufacturers list here on the left. If this is the first AMP company that you've worked with, they'll be the only one in this list. If you've worked with others and you've been added to others, you'll see them list out. So this would be a good way to get your other lines. If you want your other lines on AMP, you can toggle between them. You can write orders through AMP for all of them. So let them know, and maybe they'll get AMP, and then you'll have access to them on here. On the right here, you're going to see AMP News. This is information. Just check this out every once in a while. New features, kind of like this one's about amps at markets, at High Point Market in this case, that kind of thing. find it here in AMP News. This is how we can kind of communicate what's going on in the AMP world to you. But the main thing you're going to be doing on this tab is, on the User tab, is selecting the manufacturer you're working with if you have more than one. And once you have it selected, you'll have the Sync Selected button. This takes all the information and loads it onto your iPad. So the first time you sync a database, it might take a little while, but then you'll just be getting updates in the future. So this is very important. You're going to need Wi-Fi to make the sync work. One of the really nice things you can do here is you can sync when you're maybe at the hotel room at market, and then you're all synced up and you're ready to go, and then you can work offline when you get to market. So in that way, by syncing when you have Wi-Fi, you can ensure that you have all the information you need, and then you can use AMP when you're offline, when you don't have a good Wi-Fi connection. So that's a nice little feature here that you have the ability to use. Once you're synced up, it will let you know that we're up to date. This one's selected and up to date, green light demo. And we're going to hop over to the Manufacturer tab. So on the Manufacturer tab, a few things going on here. In this top left box here, this white box up here is all information that your manufacturer has added in for you. So if you need to get in contact with them, you have phone number, fax number, whatever information they have made available to you is going to be in this box on the left. If you want to email them, you have this email button. Just tap it and it will pull up the email address, and it'll just go right to your manufacturer. So that's a great way to get in touch with them if maybe there's some information that's off in AMP. They take care of all that. They put all this stuff in AMP for you. If pricing is wrong, or you don't see the products you're expecting to see, or the customers that you normally have access to, use that email button, get in touch with them. The other thing going on in this Manufacturer tab that we're on is this Documents button. If we tap into here, any documents that your manufacturer has loaded in for you will be listed out here. Maybe a credit card application form, maybe some photos, spec sheets, cheat sheets, all sorts of stuff, new customer form, that sort of thing might be available to you in Documents. So tap on Documents, check that out. In our case, we're going to go to this credit application, and once you have it opened up, it just opened up right here. Now you can download it, send it out. We'll hit this little icon up here. It allows us to send it as mail, airdrop it to somebody, copy it, print it, all those options that you normally have with Documents on an iPad. To get back, we'll hit done. The other thing going on here, on the right here, is your order history. So AMP orders are all orders that you have written through AMP are going to show up here, and then you can toggle over to Office orders. This would be if your manufacturer is importing orders in that were written outside of AMP from their system. That's what these Office orders would be listed out. So you can look at those in two different ways, and so these are all the orders you've written through AMP for this manufacturer, or all the orders for this manufacturer that the manufacturer is loading in for you. And if you're not seeing this information, maybe email them, ask them about it, see if they can load that in for you. Next, we're going to go to the Customer tab. This is kind of where our workflow is going to start for writing an order for a customer, is from this Customer tab. First thing to draw attention to is this Change Customer button. This is where you select the customer that you're going to be working with. So right now we have no customer selected. Any customers could be listed out there. You could go to Add New Customer, this button. That would be to add kind of a temporary customer if there's nobody in your list right away. Or you can just work with no customer selected as well. But this would be the place to come to make sure you're choosing your customer. In our case, since we don't have any customers listed out, we might want to get in touch with our manufacturer. We might want to go back to our Manufacturer tab, send them an email and say, hey, none of my customers are showing. I don't have any customers in my customer list. That would be a good thing to do in that case. So we're going to go back to the Customer tab. We're going to work out a no customer selected. Now, the other things going on this Customer tab, in the top right, we have our active proposals. You can think of these as kind of like shopping carts. We have 4 of them, so we can use up to 4. Maybe you only will ever need 1, but we can have up to 4 for each customer. And in this case, it's no customer selected. We can change the price list for each of these carts by tapping here. So in our case, the price lists we have access to are Designer, FOB, East Coast Warehouse, West Coast Warehouse, or this option that's per item that would allow us to choose the price list by each item. So we can set the price list accordingly, how we'd like it. One thing that's pretty popular among reps is to set each of these price lists, each of these carts to a different price list. If we were to do that, I'll just show you what that looks like. This is going to allow us to toggle very quickly between the different prices. So it can be a nice little thing, and I'll show you that on the next tab. The other thing happening here on the bottom right is more order history. This is order history specific to the customer we have selected. In our case, no customer. But again, we can see the AMP orders or the office orders the same way that we did on that last tab, on the manufacturer tab. Next, we're going to go to the products tab down here. This is our product catalog. We can find the products that we're looking for by either filtering over here on the left, and these filters are things that your manufacturer puts in for you. If there's something that you're not seeing in there that you think would be useful to filter, again, go to that manufacturer tab, send them an email, let them know that it would be useful to have that information added in. So maybe we want to filter by the collection. We just want to see the 1200s, for instance. We can do that. We can even layer these on top of each other if we want to see the 1200s and the 1295s. We can choose both of those. Hit the X's to make them go away. This is our full catalog. We can also just scroll through it, take a look at all the products that we have in the catalog available to us. A couple other things we can do. We can search the catalog. Maybe we just want to search for the 1200. We can do that, and it will pull up the results. Exit it out to go back to the full catalog. The other thing are these slideshows up here in the top left. If we hit the slideshows button, we can look at these different slideshows, and you can think of these as just kind of segments of the product catalog. So for instance, maybe it's market time, and we want to check this slideshow section to see if there's a walkthrough slideshow. So these are the products that are at market in the order that they appear at market. So that makes it really easy for us to just select a product and then swipe. We're just swiping to the left, and we can swipe through them. So this will make we look really good at market if we're able to just pull up this slideshow, start with the first product down here, and then as we walk through the walkthrough with the customer that's in front of us, we can just follow along by swiping through and always have access to the details, the supporting photos, inventory, price of all those products, so that we have all that information at our fingertips. Hit that little icon to go back to the catalog. Yeah, the other things, so now what we'll do is we'll tap into one of these and we'll kind of take a look at some of the information that's listed out here. On the right, you're going to have this scroll bar of all the items within this group. So this is, you can think of this as like a group photo. So this sofa in this case is representing all these pieces that are within this group, all the 4100s. You have the SKU up here at the top. In this case, this is a sofa, love, chair, and ottoman all combined. You have your price, and then you have your inventory. Below this, we have an ottoman. We have a SKU, the ottoman, the price, and the inventory. If we want to add more details on that product, we can hit the details button here. And now we have all of our information that we can show off to a customer if we'd like. If we want to add notes, we can hit the notes button. Let's hit the X here to go back. If we want to add it to our cart, we can hit this cart icon here. That adds it to the cart. If we want more quantity, we hit this little orange number here, and we can change it to 5. One of the cool things that's happening up here is the cubes are adding up. So as we add these products to our cart, the cubes are adding up at the top here, as well as the price. So you'll notice if I add an extra ottoman in here, our cubes just went up. Maybe we have 2 ottomans, and let's hit done, and you'll notice the cubes incrementing there. So that can be really useful as you're filling out a container to keep track of how many cubes are in your shopping cart. So let's hit this guy to go back. And we're going to actually hop back to the full catalog. Cool. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tap back into here, and I'm going to show you this photos button. So for those that have supporting photos, you can tap into the photos button here. Maybe there's a swatch photo available to you, maybe a couple different swatches. So those are in there in that photos icon. You can tap on those to get to those. Perfect. Now we're going to go back to the full catalog. Once you have everything you want in your cart, I alluded to those different carts and those different price lists. You can toggle between carts up here at the top by tapping on these guys. And then we can go back to our original cart. If we actually tap back into one of these products and we take a look here, you can see that if we tap, so right now we're on the FOB price list in this cart at $572.33. If we tap onto the next cart, you'll see that, remember, we set those price lists in each of those carts on the customer tab. We can now see the East Coast warehouse price quickly for the same product. We can go over to this next cart and see the West Coast warehouse, and then finally the designer. So that's just a really nifty trick to see at the different price lists each of those what that product's going to be for each of those price lists really quickly, and we're just toggling between the carts. That's again a common practice that we see people use. Once you have all the products that you want in your cart, we're going to hop over to the proposal tab, this tab down here, and we get to decide how we want to send this information to the client. So if we're early along in the sales process, maybe we just want to get the information in front of them, that would be the presentation here. And you'll notice we have presentation, proposal, and order form. Presentation would be kind of the earliest in the sales cycle. We just want to give them the specs for the products that they've shown interest in. We hit the send button there. We're able to send just the specs as is, or we can make some adjustments here. We can add in different price lists if we want to get the prices in front of them. Maybe we want to show them a couple different prices. Maybe we only want to show them one. You can toggle them on here, and you'll notice that it was toggled on here. If we don't want to show prices, let's keep them toggled off. And once it loads up, there's now no prices listed here. If we want to just show the SKUs that we selected, so this is showing the whole group. If you just want to show the SKUs that you selected, then we hit chosen SKUs only, and it reduces down. Now we're just showing that set as well as the ottoman, which were the two pieces that we put into our cart. If we want to show the whole group, we can uncheck that. And then we're able to email this or print it depending on how we want to present it to the client. If we do email, then they'll get a link to this and they'll be able to pull it up, look at the specs, look at the photos. They can download the photos as full size to get a real sense of those high-res images and inspect the product. So that would be a presentation. If you want to send a proposal, we're going to go to this proposal tab. It's very similar to the presentation with the addition of this calculator. And this calculator allows you to calculate out an estimated retail price to make it a little bit easier on them to make a buying decision. So this might be you're a little bit further along. They know what products they're interested in, but now in order to get them to a decision, you want to kind of do the math for them so that they can start understanding what it's going to look like on their floor. So we have our effective prices here. What we can do is we can add a shipping percentage or shipping per queue. In our case, let's put a shipping percentage of 10%. You'll notice the estimated retail price and estimated landed price, they both popped up there. Now maybe we can put in a margin, so we want to say how many points they're going to get. Let's say they want 25 points. Hit done. And now we have this estimated retail price. So hey, you're going to buy it here. This is what shipping is going to cost you. This is what your margin's going to look like. Here's your estimated retail price. This is what you can put it on the floor for. So may get them closer to a buying decision. If you don't think that this is helpful, then maybe just stick to the presentation. Now the final way to send this information to the client and also to the order desk for your manufacturer to have the order be processed is this order form. So we're going to hop over to the order form tab here. The bill to ship to information will be pulled in from the customer that you selected. In our case, we didn't select a customer. You can enter in other information here. PO number, for instance, is very useful. You may want to have to put that in. And then this other information here. Your products that you have in your cart are listed out in the order form. If we need to change the quantities, we can actually just tap right on here, change the quantities. We can leave notes for these. Maybe this one's a market special. We can put a note here that it's a market special. Highlights it in red for the order desk. We can override prices on this page if we need to. We can also apply discounts to the full cart or add notes to the full cart. So we can enter in all this information from the order form here. Also, if we forgot a SKU, maybe there's something that we should have added, we can hit this type or scan a SKU button. We can start typing in. Maybe we want to add in this chair. We can select more than one thing too. Maybe we want to add in all three of these. And select a bunch of them, hit done. Now they're added to our order form. That's probably the fastest way to get SKUs into your order form is with this type or scan a SKU option here. Once we like the looks of our order and we're ready to send it in, hit the send button. We have three options here: send print order, send draft, send commitment. Send print order, this is an official order. This one's going to go to the order desk. It's going to be the order that gets tabulated in AMP. It's going to be processed, fulfilled. Send draft, this would be maybe if you just want to send kind of what it would look like to your customer. You just want to send your customer a little something to say, hey, this is the order that we've been talking about. Does this look good to you? You can do it like that. Send commitment, this would be in the case of if you just want to show your manufacturer that there's some interest in this product. They aren't necessarily going to buy right there, but it shows that there's a commitment to buy in the future. So if your manufacturer is interested in that kind of thing, that's how you can send that in, not as an official order, but as a commitment to buy in the future to show interest for that product. In our case, and probably in yours as well, send print order, this is going to be the most likely thing you choose. So this is telling us we don't have a PO. We're going to send it anyway. It's going to pull up this order form. It's going to put the order desk on there. It's going to address it to the customer that we have selected. In our case, we didn't select one. And then it's going to just have a little preview of the order as well as a link to let them get to the actual order. Yeah, and then we just hit send to send that away. In our case, we're going to cancel it. And finally, there's this QR code tab down here. If we tap on that, it actually pulls up the camera on your phone. This would be used at market if your manufacturer has printed out labels with QR codes for AMP. You can hit this little icon down here. It pulls up your camera, and then you can use your camera to scan in that QR code. So look for those QR code labels for your AMP lines, and if you see them, that's how you can pull them up, and it will pull you right to the product that you're in front of. So really useful there. Just one thing of note when you're sending in these orders, if you don't have access to Wi-Fi, the order obviously won't be able to send. It's going to wait until you have access to Wi-Fi. So something just to bear in mind if you don't have access to Wi-Fi and you're sending in an order, clearly it's not going to be able to make it through without that connection to the internet, and you're going to need to have Wi-Fi before it goes through. But it will queue it up ready to go. Cool. So yeah, that's kind of our overview of AMP. Thank you for bearing with us, and hope that things go well for you.